What if three simple phrases could radically change your faith, your finances, and how you face the future? In this episode, 10 Powerful Words for Life, we explore the surprising power of I don't know, I will die, and we can't afford that. Discover why admitting what you don't know frees you in ministry, why planning for death brings peace for today, and why learning contentment might be the most liberating financial decision you'll ever make. Honest, biblical, and deeply practical. This episode will help you invest your limited time, knowledge, and resources in what truly matters.
Welcome to Gleaning Mustard Seeds with Jerrie Barber. Mr. Barber is a preacher, a ventriloquist, a barefoot runner, and writes 2 blogs. When Jerrie communicates, he encourages people, try not to learn very much. Find a mustard seed. In the next few minutes, try not to learn very much. Look for something you can do to move a mountain, remove a stumbling block, or provide a stepping stone for yourself or someone else. And now, here's Jerrie with this week's mustard seed.
In my early ministry, I spent many hours teaching and encouraging people to tell others about Jesus and His way. I guaranteed people who'd go through my 13-week training course at the end, they'd be able to answer every question that anyone would ever ask about the Bible. One of my favorite sermons, I've said, doesn't take 13 weeks to teach that principle. We have enough time to do that today. Anyone who can say 3 words in the right order can answer every question anyone will ever ask about the Bible. Those 3 words, I don't know. There are 3 categories of questions people can ask about the Bible. 1, questions people will ask, and we know the answer. I like to turn to the Bible and let the person read aloud the answer. 2, questions people ask, we know the answer, but it isn't time to answer that question. They're foundation principles they need to understand before we get to that question. I tell them, that's a good question. We'll get to it at a later time. Let's make a note and discuss that later. 3, questions people ask, and we have no idea how to answer the question. When that happens, I say, I don't know. Let's study the Bible together and try to find the answer. There's some questions that can't be answered. Only God knows the answer, and He hasn't told us. Deuteronomy 29:29. The secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the things that are revealed belong to us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. People have a lot of questions. Where'd Cain get his wife? Where'd the different races originate? Did the walls of Jericho fall in or out? What was Paul's thorn in the flesh? Where did Jesus get his clothes when He rose from the dead? Will we know each other in heaven? What are the details of our life after this life is over, including the order of events from the trumpet sound, the shout from heaven, the description of our housing conditions in eternity, and where's the latitude and longitude of our address in the afterlife? In one of the last written books of the Bible, the Apostle John said he didn't know the particulars of how it will be with us after this life. Listen to 1 John 3:2. Beloved, we are God's children and now, and what we will be has not yet appeared. But we know that when He appears, we shall be like Him, because we shall see Him as He is. Unless someone has some information after John wrote this book he didn't know and we don't know. He did say we'll be like Jesus. That ought to be sufficient. If it's good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for me. Why would I want to invest my time, money, and energy in something that can't be done? Our knowledge capacity, information available, and time to study are limited. Next phrase, I will die. We usually plan for major events in our life, vacations, move from one location to another, weddings, and other life-changing events. When we make preparation, the day of departure is much more pleasant. Unless the Lord comes in the next few years, we have an appointment with death. It'll be a long trip. I need to be prepared. More than 20 years ago, Gail and I planned our funerals. A few years after that, we bought our tombstone. The specific plans were not as important as the numerous discussions we've had with each other and with our family, something we talk about as naturally as our vacation that's coming up next month. I'll put links in the show notes to connect you with previous episodes that discuss these topics. Our life on earth is limited. Psalm 90, 10 and 12. The years of our life are 70, or even by reason of strength 80, yet their span is but toil and trouble. They're soon gone, and we fly away. So teach us to number our days, that we may get a heart of wisdom. Next phrase, 4 words. We can't afford that. The love of money and the things money can buy is one of the great temptations we face. Everybody's on a limited income. Some people's limits are higher than others, but everyone is limited. The challenge isn't often our income, but our level of contentment. Paul tells us we should be content when our needs are met. 1 Timothy 6, 6-8. But godliness with contentment is great gain, for we brought nothing into the world, and we cannot take anything out of the world. But if we have food and clothing, with these we will be content. When I have my needs met and I decide I want much more, I need to ask the question, can I afford that? Solomon tells me if my outgo exceeds my income, I will be a slave to the one to whom I owe money. Proverbs 22, verse 7. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. I hear great stories of how parents have sacrificed over and over again to give their children things they want. That's often commendable. However, some of the words that children need to hear several times early in life, we can't afford that. Everyone is on a limited income. If the difference between wants and needs aren't learned earlier, many people will struggle financially all their life. There'll always be bigger houses, nicer cars, more expensive and exotic vacations, and every other advertisement that comes our way. Let's summarize these 10 words. I don't know. I will die. We can't afford that. We're limited in knowledge available and the time to learn. We're limited in the length of our life, and we are uncertain of our last day. We're limited in our resources. Therefore, I need to acquire the knowledge I need to do the best I can with the opportunities I have. I need to prioritize my life to prepare for my retirement in this life and in the one to come. I need to spend my money on what's truly important. 2 questions as I invest in knowledge, time, and money. How much does it cost? How much is it worth? And if it isn't worth what it costs, don't buy it.
Thank you for listening to Gleaning Mustard Seeds with Jerrie Barber. If you found a mustard seed, send a text or email with the link to a friend. This podcast is brought to you in partnership with the Ministry League Network. Ministry League is a global platform dedicated to equipping Christians with the tools they need for ministry, worship, and personal growth. Featuring over 50 podcasts created by members of the Lord's Church, Ministry League provides uplifting and biblically sound content for all ages. Through the Ministry League app, you can access these podcasts, a digital songbook for worship, free Bible study materials, curriculum, and other ministry resources to strengthen your walk with Christ. Don't miss out on the latest updates and podcast episodes. Subscribe to the Ministry League YouTube channel for daily content and exclusive insights into the work of the Lord's Church, or visit ministryleague.com to explore what's possible. Ministry League, equipping you for every good work. Thank you for listening. Jerry looks forward to next week as we continue to collect and plant mustard seeds.